husbands, listen to your wives. Maybe I should say that again. Dear African husbands, listen to your wives. Once again, welcome to African Podcast, and my name is Benuru, or people call me Uncle Beno. So hopefully, if you are younger than me, you might really see me as an uncle. All right, I'm going to tell you a short story, a very quick story, in order to create a context for this exciting conversation. So, to understand what this is all about, and I mean for you to understand why you should listen to your wife, I'm going to tell you the story of Manuel Zhang. This guy right here. So Manuel Zhang is from Equatorial Guinea, and he works at the United Arab Emirates. Specifically, he works construction in Dubai. So one day, Manuel came back from work and he was exhausted, he was tired, and as he was sitting on the couch, he received a call. It was an international call from his home country, Equatorial Guinea. And on that call, his friend said, "Bro, how are you holding on?" Manuel didn't understand what that was all about. So he's like, "I'm fine. I just came back from work. I'm tired. I'm just trying to relax a little bit to see if I can at least unwind, all that kind of thing." And then the friend on the other end of the phone continued and said, "Well, I just wanted to touch base with you. I don't want you to feel like, as your friend, I did not call to check on you. I hope you are taking the news as a man and you are not allowing the news to weigh you down." And Manuel again couldn't grasp what that is all about. And he was like, "Dude, what are you talking about? What news? Did anybody died?" The friend said, "Oh, you haven't heard? I'm sorry, I thought you've seen the video." And Manuel said, "What video? I haven't seen nothing. What's going on? Talk to me, buddy." Then his friend broke the news. I said, "I thought you've seen the SEX video of your wife that is making the rounds on social media." Manuel couldn't believe what he heard. And he's like, "What are you talking about? What do you mean, tape of my wife making rounds on? What is this all about?" Then the friend just gave it to him without gloves and said, "Well, Manuel, I'm sorry. Your wife is involved in infidelity. In fact, she has committed adultery. She was having sexual affair with somebody who is in a position of power." And then the friend went ahead and told him about the story of this dude right here. I believe you've all heard the story. The man from Equatorial Guinea who had SEX tape of over 400 women he has slept with. So Manuel was dumbfounded. He couldn't believe what he's just heard from his friend. And he was like, stop saying this. I still spoke to my wife this morning. I spoke this afternoon. No, what are you talking about? Is there any proof?" Then the friend sent him the video. The video I believe many of you have seen now. He saw the video and he lost it. Which of course, that's what happened when a man actually lay his hands on an X-rated tape of his wife, his lovely wife, having an affair with another man. Then the friend went ahead and broke it to him that your wife is actually one out of about 400 women, that there are tapes currently available. So what did Manuel did? Immediately, Manuel hopped on the plane. The next day, Manuel called off at work, and then he booked an emergency flight all the way from Saudi Arabia, of course, to Equatorial Guinea. So the wife didn't know that he was coming. He confronted the wife when on arrival, and she was trying to deny everything. Then he showed his wife the tape, and she started crying. That video is also making rounds on social media. A lot of people have seen the reaction video of when the husband confronted his wife. Now, why do I tell you this story? Why am I talking about this? What is so important about this? Just take a look at this guy again. You see his face? Just look at his face. He look calm, a gentleman, right? Innocent. But this guy have slept with several women, including wives of prominent people, his pastor, his brother, his uncle, ministers, his security chiefs, police officer, just name it. Even the chief judge, is it the chief judge of the country? Yeah, he slept with the wives too. But that is not where I'm going with this. The reason I'm asking the question and trying to reach out to you brothers, especially African husband, is that I want you to put yourself in the shoes of Manuel. If you are Manuel, who is working in Dubai and trying to provide for his family, and you got this news, this evidence right on your phone, watching your wife giving it to another man, just tell me, how would you feel? As a podcaster, I know I have to investigate this. I have to make sure I know what I'm talking about. So ordinarily, I stay away from anything X-rated tips because what do I have to gain from it? But in the case of this particular allegation, and because there are several videos out there making the rounds, I know I have to check and try to understand what was really going on. And then I watch a couple of videos. While I'm watching the video, my attention, my concentration was on those women. Now, I am not trying to defend any of them. I'm not trying to even cut them any slack, because to me, these are disgusting women who can actually get involved in an act of infidelity. You are committing adultery with a married man, and you are participating in recording yourself in that act. So I'm sorry, sisters. I'm not giving any of those women any consideration or soft landing. But this is not about the women. This episode right here is about my fellow African brothers. Because when I watch those videos, there's something in some of those women's eyes that I notice. Even though they knew what they were doing was wrong, even though it appears that they are enjoying it, even though the D was actually Dean, yet you can tell that deep down, somewhere in the soul of those ladies, there is unhappiness. While I am not accepting any of them in the participation, but I still know there are some of those women who wouldn't have engaged in that act if some circumstances at home are what they actually desired and they are getting it. And if you watch those tapes, you're also going to notice that that wasn't the first rodeo for many of those women in the tapes. And another thing I noticed from watching some of those clips is that this dude seems to have a kind of ongoing relationship with these women. So this now brings me to what this conversation is all about. I'm going to show you a couple of pictures. I need you guys to follow me on this one, okay? Just follow me on this one briefly. As a husband, take a look at this picture. Take that in for a minute. Now, look at this other picture. Which of these women would you like to have as your wife? Is it this beautiful, smiling, gorgeously looking woman that radiates beauty and happiness? Or this woman whose demeanor shows that she is unhappy? As a husband, who would you like to come back home to? Also, consider this situation here. Look at this couple. Would you like this to be you and your spouse? Smiling, having a good time, just enjoying the company of one another? Or you would rather prefer a situation like this? Black couple, African brother, a husband and a wife who are yelling, fighting, abusing each other. Which do you prefer? Just tell me in the comment, please. I would like to know. Do you like this or you want this? The bottom line is, dear husband, how happy is your wife? Is she a happy woman or a very sad wife? Because if we come back to that video, you can tell that something is wrong. How can a man have affairs with over 400 women? And the vast majority of these women married. That means we have one married man who is cheating on one woman with over 400 women. And on the other hand, we've got 400 women who are cheating with 400 husbands or spouses with just one man. What's going on? So like I said, having watched all those videos and combing everything, I came to the conclusion that there are some of these women who engage in this act just because they are not happy in their marriage. So, brothers, we have to do better. We have to. This dude right here, I don't even know what to say to him. But tell me, as an African husband, if this dude make love to your wife Like, if your wife happens to be one of those women in that video, how would you feel? What kind of rage and anger will be going through your soul? Now, let me ask you, if you can prevent anything, any situation like that, if you can do anything to avoid a situation where one gigolo, call this guy Bengali, if you can do anything to avoid a situation where a Bengali, such as this dude, will be messing with your wife, wouldn't you do that? If anything is wrong at home, if anything is wrong between you and your wife, if you feel like something is not right here, as a husband, if you feel like something is not right, I have this situation with my wife and she's unhappy, I have to do something about it. If you can do anything to avoid a situation that your wife, the wife you married traditionally, you paid the bride price, you did everything that were demanded of you, and you love this woman, if you can do anything to avoid a situation that she has to step out on you, wouldn't you do it? If your answer is yes, then we need to have this conversation. So, dear African husband, listen to your wives. Behind every cheating, every infidelity, every extramarital affairs, there is a story. Don't get me wrong. There are some nasty wives that no matter what you do, no matter how you sacrifice everything and you just want to satisfy them, you just want to make sure they are happy, if it is part of their destiny that they have to cheat on you, they will. They will definitely find a way to cheat on you. But some of, can I even say majority of the African women that I know will never do such. So let us begin to address these issues. I think there are a couple of things that as a husband, African husband usually underplay. They didn't attach any importance or any relevance to that. And when these issues are happening between them and their spouses, they choose to ignore it, or they will rather behave like, okay, I'm the head of the family, I married you. If you are not happy, that's your problem. It has nothing to do with me. A lot of men will ignore all these signs until the wife eventually step out on them. So these are my advice to you guys. First off, I think a lot of African husbands really don't understand what it means to be a provider. I'm not trying to shade anybody here. I'm just trying to have this conversation, this honest conversation, and hopefully it can go a long way to help some of my brothers in their marriages. I think many African brothers really don't understand what it means to be a provider. And I'm going to explain. As a provider, you are not limited to providing only financial support to your family, and especially your wife. Because I think many a times African husbands think, okay, as a provider, all I have to do is let me make money, and so far there is money, There is food, clothing, good house, fine cars, and all that. I'm good. My wife definitely don't have anything to worry about. I'm sorry, brother. I just have to break this to you. Being a provider goes beyond finances alone. You also have to provide emotional support. And that is why I asked the question, dear African husband, are your wives happy? As a man, ask yourself, is my wife truly happy? When you look at your wife and you see beyond physical, to see if she's dealing with some emotional issues, if she's got some needs that are not met. So as a provider, you don't just have to provide financial support, you also have to provide emotional support. Besides that too, you still have one or two more provisions to make sure that they are in place in your marriage. And that's why I'm going to talk about number 3, which is you have to be a social provider. You have to be there for your wife socially. Do you guys smile at home? Do you talk? Do you talk freely, or you only talk when it is necessary? Do you chit chat? Do you throw banter at each other? Do you go out? How many vacations do you have as a couple in a year? How many parties do you guys been to? As an African, of course, every weekend there's going to be one party or the other, and it's part of our it's part of our DNA to socialize. And besides that, how many things do you do socially with your wife? All right, I get it. Maybe you are an introvert, you are such a laid-back husband, you are not really an outgoing person, but your wife is a social bird. Your wife is a social animal. She just want to be up and doing. She just want to be out there catching fun, catching cruise. Do you give her the space to express herself? Can she go out without you worrying, questioning, or doubting where she has been? Can she spend time with her friends? Can she spend time with maybe other women association or event or anything? Is she able to wear her clothes, make her hair, fancy shoe, bags, everything, and go out just to feel alive? Or are you holding her down? You have to look into that. As a provider, you have to guarantee that she's having the social life she desires. There are just so many aspects of being a provider. But I'm going to talk about this last one because this is what this particular episode is all about. Are you providing for her romantically? Yes. Are you providing for her romantic needs? In the bedroom, do you satisfy her? Is she having orgasm in the bedroom? Are you doing what you are supposed to do as a man? Are you meeting her needs sexually? That's what it means. Meeting your wife's needs sexually is part of your responsibility as a provider. Because if you disappoint a woman romantically, it doesn't matter how much money you have, it doesn't matter how much you try to compensate for that inability in the bedroom, she's still going to wind up an unhappy woman. And in the case of this Bengali in Equatorial Guinea, you can tell that guy is just trying to fill the gap. There is a vacuum in many of the relationships that those women are involved with. And that guy felt he's probably meeting their needs. That is why when you watch all those videos, you can see that those women are willing participants. So, dear African husbands, do you give your wife the freedom to express themselves? And when your wife are complaining, when the wife is complaining about things that she felt she's been denied or she's disgruntled about, do you listen to your wife? Can you tell if she's unhappy? Some women have trouble trying to express themselves because, especially when it comes to the issue of sex, a lot of African women, they would rather shut down. Some of them, they are not forthcoming. They are thinking, oh, maybe if I tell my husband I'm not really enjoying this sexual encounter with him, he might probably think maybe I'm a wayward woman, maybe I've been stepping out on him, so I'll just keep it to myself. But can you look at her and read her body language and deduce that I think something is wrong with my wife? Now, if she summons courage and she speaks about it, she started the conversation and start talking about stuff like that. Are you receptive? Do you embrace active listening to actually knows that, okay, get you, baby, I will make it up to you? Always remember the story I told you about Manuel Zanga. Manuel Zanga was meeting the financial needs of his wife with 2 kids. Bro is working his butt off at Dubai. And if you know what it means to be a construction worker, you know that this is a hardworking man. He's busting his ass in Dubai to send the money home to the wife. He has a home, there are cars. The wife has like 3 businesses ongoing. If you look at the wife, you can tell that this is a woman that is well taken care of financially. So in the case of Manuel was providing financial support. But because Manuel lives several thousands of miles away from his wife and they don't get to be together and see each other frequently, there is this huge vacuum in their relationship. Manuel can provide emotional support on the phone, talking to the wife, but that isn't the same as being available, being by her side. Yeah. Manuel cannot provide social support. Even though the wife is social, outgoing, I heard that the wife is a content creator or something, but at the same time, she's socializing all by herself. There is a void in that marriage. And lastly, Manuel was not available to give the wife the romance she desired. He wasn't providing romantic support for the wife. What happened? Just like the other 400 plus women that Mr. Mugo Park This guy, where this guy, I won't even say what's on my mind. What I wanted to recommend that they do to him, I won't say it on air. But because Manuel was not available to provide all his wife needed, the wife was being stigmatized by a gigolo. Now, there are several risks involved. If that dude has not been arrested for financial crime and his home got raided and those footages were leaked, Manuel wouldn't know that the wife is getting stigmatized by I don't want to curse this guy. But the bottom line is Manuel wouldn't know that the wife is getting stigmatized. Now, what are the risks? Manuel risk STD, HIV, anything at all. Because by the time he come back home and have intimacy with the wife, he can carry anything. I don't know if you guys can learn one or two things from this episode, but I just want you to know that as a husband, listen to your wife. And if your wife is complaining of anything at all, please try your best to meet her needs. Especially SEX. If you are doing bad in that department, you are risking your marriage and you are risking heartbreaks. So please, dear African husband, listen to your wives, be attentive, try your best to provide all you can in those 4 areas that I've mentioned. Well, let me know what you think in the comments. If you think African men, African husbands are actually listening to their wife, let me know in the comment. And if you think African husbands need to do more, let me know in the comment. However, the images, except for the Mugo pack that I use in this episode, are not real. I only use those images as an illustration. If you have any comment or any suggestion, please don't hesitate to drop it. Now, do me a favor, like this video, give us thumbs up, share, subscribe to our channel, and of course, join our membership for exclusive content. Wherever you are, if you have anything you want to discuss, you can reach out to me on WhatsApp and we can talk about it. That's the WhatsApp number on the screen. Until I come your way again, my name is Ben Uru and this is African Podcast. And it is my pleasure to have you guys here. Remember, be safe and of course, listen to your wife as an African husband. Till I see you again, bye-bye for now.